Morning, back at the workshop, and as you would have seen in the last video, this thing has finally had its first journey with the new engine, and it went fine. But obviously that night it was late and dark and soaking wet and horrible, so I drove it in and left it here, and this is the first time I've got to check on it after that to see if anything really went wrong. I mean, obviously I only drove it probably barely a mile really in the trips around the block and up and down the road, but it was enough to point out anything obvious, and to be honest, nothing much. This is still very slightly leaking, like literally a couple of drips in the space of a fucking day, and I'm still not entirely sure exactly where it's dripping from. I still think it looks like it's coming from maybe the bolts, or it might be, now I look at it, I'm not 100% these bolts aren't too long or something and not totally crushing the gasket down there, but it's such a small amount it can wait until I drop the oil to do an oil change, because yeah, whatever. Again, on a similar note, the wastegate I mentioned before is almost certainly a tiny bit leaking, but as you can see here, it's pretty easy to remove it, to sort it out, so not the end of the world. Before I do any more mapping, I should smoke test it to check for leaks. There's no point trying to sort the map out and then, you know, realizing it's wrong because all the leaks. This kind of shit is why I love having this Ignitron. I'm running this 4-bar map sensor, and while the Ignitron's set for a 4-bar map sensor, it's set for the normal Bosch one, the one that looks like that. This one is an external one, and not only that, but it's not made by Bosch. It's an OEM Volkswagen one, but it's made by Vallejo. So it's like, is the calibration the same? Don't know. And I couldn't find any like data for that online anywhere. It's from it's an OEM Volkswagen part, so you'd think maybe they would run the same calibration, but it's a map sensor for the compound twin turbo TDIs in like things like newer Tiguan's and stuff like that, where they run like mega boost as standard. So I needed to find out, obviously, if the calibration's right. And well, with this ECU it's easy. I just plug in the Mitivac and go to whatever amount of vacuum. So like, it's about 50 vacuum, so yeah, obviously 100 atmo pressure in kPa, so minus 50 should be about 50, and lo and behold, about 50. And if I change it to boost, pump it up, so let's go to 100 kPa roughly there, 100 kPa, so that's 200 including obviously atmo pressure, 214, 213. Obviously I can't be fully sure this is accurate, and 200, it's about there roughly. Again, it's hard to be very accurate on a Mitivac with a manual gauge, so that's about 200. So obviously 300 kPa including atmo, 310. I'd say that's close enough. Another quick job. Back bumper is now officially fully held on with cable ties, because I don't give a shit. It's meant to look rubbish. It's just a sleeper, so that don't bother me. And I needed something to do it there. I couldn't use the original bolts because I had to cut them off to clear the drag radials. So yeah, job done. I'm used to that from drift cars over the years, and it holds just fine. and even if it does fall off at 200 mile an hour, it's only going to pull the back bumper off. It's not going to do any damage. So more than happy with that. I actually had someone messaging me a bit early on Instagram being like, oh, why don't you make the car look like tidier? It's like, have you well, I replies like, because I don't care. It's like, I don't care, that's the point. It's like, I build cars to use, and I when have I ever had a pretty looking super tidy car? Never. He replied after that with yeah, but loads of people know you're really popular on the internet, why don't you try and make it nice? It's like, well, I'm not popular anyway, because what, I've got like not even 10,000 on my YouTube, and like, I don't know, 8,000 on Instagram. Like, fuck all. Like, literally, I'm nobody. And even if I am popular, I'm certainly not popular for making nice cars. I've always made shit boxes, so I'm not really sure what this guy's point was. But it's like, okay, thanks, I'm not even going to bother replying. But yeah, I mean, this thing's shit, and that's the whole point. He was actually commenting that I'd not made the exhaust cutouts round. It's like, well, that one's not visible, and that one's deliberate to show the pea shooter. So it's like, you kind of miss the point. And I mean, the bumpers, it's all cable ties and millions of holes. This car's not got a single panel that's either at least scratched or damaged. It's like, fucking hell, do I care? No. Some people though, they're a bit special. Things I've never done before. Volume 1. A smoke test in car. Although, to be fair, most tuners and mappers don't even smoke test cars in any form, even though it's like absolutely fucking vital in my opinion. But yeah, makes it easy having the filter in car. So let's turn it on and see where the smoke pours out. Hopefully nowhere, but there's a lot of pipes here. Looks like a tiny bit from the intake pipe, but that actually does not matter because that's pre-turbo anyway. I think it's from there, so I'll check that.
It's right?
Yeah, apart from that, I'm surprised myself. I honestly thought, I wasn't confident in the V-band out yet. I think it's on this. I think it's coming from there. I'll check. But I thought that was going to leak, but I weren't that confident in it. And obviously this is all new pipework. Fucking hell, I've done a less shit job than I expected.
Inside?
Well, it's no, nothing. No, I mean, at Badger 5 they smoke tested it before it was mapped, because Badger 5 do a proper job, and they didn't find any leaks then.
Yeah, that's from the intake.
I think it's the intake pipe. So let's turn it off. That is, yeah, that's coming from there, so that's easy. Maybe I've not even tightened it up. But to be honest, because this is all new, I didn't know. I was kind of half expecting tons of fucking leaks. But this is just this one, which doesn't really matter much, but let's do it properly. So yeah, very happy with that. The only noticeable leak was a tiny one from the intake pipe, and to be honest, because there's no MAF sensor, it doesn't matter really. And under vacuum, that wouldn't, you know, that wouldn't suck air through. It's only blowing it out under pressure. So yeah, all good. Well, that was interesting. I have been gone for a few hours, and just before I left, I noticed there was a water leak from somewhere. It's always been there on the gearbox side, and I could never work out where it's coming from. It wasn't bad, but it was there. It was bad enough. It was just dripping. Just, I could see pink coolant drips, but underneath the gearbox, and couldn't work out where it's coming from. And I said to Thomas, don't suppose you can spot it, can you? And he's like, I bet I can. And he spotted at least just before I had to leave that it was somewhere around here, going to the top of the gearbox and running down underneath from there. So I was like, cool, I'll go and, you know, I'm going to go now and I'll be back later and I'll fix it then. And before I even got back, Thomas messaged me and said, oh, I found your leak and fixed it. It was basically one of the hoses from near where the water temp sensor is, had a little split in it. So he cut it down and put it back on. And when I got here, he was like, I didn't fix it for you, I fixed it because I want to, you know, I want to see this car go. I want, you know, he's never seen it move before. So I went out and took it for a little drive. I didn't go hard with it. I sort of changed up at between 5 and 5.5 tops, and I think it was running 1 bar, maybe slightly less. You know, not a lot, nowhere near what it was is capable of. And well, as the footage at Thomas and Andrew who were both here, both filmed, it's fucking, even at that, it's a weapon. Imagine what it's going to be like with another 3,000 RPM and double the boost, more than double the boost. It feels good as well. Like, it pulls very hard, even lower down, and like, it's really coming alive at like 5,000 or so, and then I have to let off because it's not mapped, so I don't really want to push it and accidentally break it. But fucking hell, I am mega pleased with it and mega excited to get it mapped and running at full power now, like proper. I mean, I've sampled the potential now and I'm like, holy fucking shit. So yeah, this thing's gonna be a fucking beast. Yeah, I'm short shifting loads. I mean, it's what, 8.5's going to be roughly where it goes to, but yeah, it moves.
The second pass you've done here, how much you revved it to? That sounded beyond.
5.5 maybe maximum.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sounded aggressive.
Oh yeah, I was nowhere near. Yeah, it's just beginning to take off. But yeah, it's fucking, yeah, feels good. Good. No traction problems though.
No.
So, it's gonna...
Not yet.
Not yet. 2 bar maybe, but I better not go too fucking crazy because, well,
you need to check the map.
I need to, yeah, check the map. So, yeah, calm down. On Sunday, I am free all day for once. So as long as it's not chucking it down, I am probably gonna do some sensible driving about, low load, blah blah blah, get the map as nice as I can, gradually work up to a bit of boost and whatever, just get it as good as I can, and then literally Monday ring up Badger 5 and see when I can book it in, because apart from that, the car seems to be working good as gold. The gears are nice, there's no more leaks, it's not getting hot, it's good, it's good. The engine seems fucking loving life, and as the video footage shows of them filming me earlier, even though I had another, what, 3,000 RPM and over double the boost left to go. It's fucking brilliant so far. It genuinely already felt probably as fast as it did with the old engine turbo setup. Just, I'm missing the RPM, you know, I was only revving to like 5.5. It needs more RPM. And it feels definitely faster than the 19 TDI ones that I've driven did. And they were revving to about the same amount, you know, 5.5. This is definitely faster than that already. And this is running like I said, I think maybe 12, 13, 14 PSI it saw. Nowhere near full boost. The spool up, despite this gigantic turbo, is more than enough. It picks up just fine. It's got plenty low down. Yeah, you know, if you know me and have followed me for a long time, you know I'm a big turbo person. And I think most people's ideas of, oh, you got to have a small turbo because of lag and low down power and all that, they're just fucking, it's very wrong in many ways. And this is another great example. This turbo's fucking gigantic, but it's got plenty enough low down. And the advantages of a big turbo everywhere else is, well, pretty fucking self-explanatory. But yeah, hopefully, thanks to a little bit of action in this video, you like this video. So comment, subscribe. That's fireworks outside, by the way. It's not like a gang war. So yeah, hope you like the video. A little bit of action, a little bit of flames, some cool noises. And I like the fact the exhaust is relatively quiet, because this is meant to be a sleeper. I don't want a big stupid loud exhaust. I always want cars to be faster than they look and sound, and this one really is. Even Thomas said straight away, he's like, I want my exhaust to be like this on my one. Well, he said two things. Wow. He's kind of decided to 180T his one, that was 19 TDI. He'd already decided that. But the things he wasn't decided on was like things like the exhaust and engine spec. And straight away, two things he said after seeing and hearing this is, one, he wants his exhaust to sound like this one. And two, he's not at all scared to run this turbo on it. And no, I wouldn't be either. This is a Borg Warner S300SX, S362, something like that. It's a similar size to my turbo. Very similar. I think it's got a slightly bigger compressor and a very slightly smaller turbine wheel or something. I can't remember, but it's big. But he's seen now how this big motherfucker spools. He's not at all worried about running that, and fair play to him, because that is the correct decision in my book. You know, a good twin scroll manifold so you can get things spooling as good as they can, and fucking put on the big turbos and send it. And yeah, I'm loving this, really fucking loving this, and I hope you are too. So that's enough for me for now. I think this is going to make a good enough video on its own. So like, comment, subscribe, show your friends. Everyone's going to love a mental MR2 with a 180 in it. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Also got the link to my Patreon in the description if you want to go on there and help out at all. Anything is appreciated, because obviously YouTube makes me nothing.